First, congratulations to Reverend Marilyn Hyde Riley for smashing another hole in the glass ceiling with her recent appointment as the first female General Secretary of the Jamaica Baptist Union, the first woman to occupy the post in 200 years. The announcement came recently at the Baptist Union's conference in Kingston. Good day. This is the 61st episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. What a week of news. The revelation that some better off Jamaicans were running away by buying a cruise and skipping port in Belize on their way to the Mexico-US border. That, by the way, frankly speaking, has been a route for months now. Call no sin the Marilla cruise. Oh, cruel irony. When that report came, the very week we changed in-transit visa arrangements with Cuba for those Cubans using Jamaica on their way to Nicaragua or Panama for the same end purpose. Hugh Croskery, the beneficial owner, founder, and executive chairman of SSL, says he's resigning, and we are yet to make head or tail of that as the wheels of investigation into SSL creakingly wobble along. Then, of course, we hear that there is a labor shortage in Jamaica. Work it out. Frankly speaking, what does that say about the dozens of people you see outside the markets in the parish capital and major town, hawking and peddling from ice mint and cigarette to garlic and apples to imported slippers and panties? Labor shortage. What to make of the stalls along the sidewalk in front of the shops or plazas on Main Street, or cluttering downtown Kingston or Crossroads or Half a Tree Mandela Park? Work it out yourself. What will happen when the next fake or real ad calls for a recruitment for overseas? Will anyone turn up? Supply and demand. So that means something now that the report regarding recommendations on the minimum wage is before the Ministry of Labor. Yes, it's true. Jamaica, which prides itself on having the best ganja in the world, has something hard to puff on now. We have imported ganja from Canada. Canada, of all places in the world. They don't even have the sunshine that side. That's true. But here is the lie. The ganja imported did not all go to a lab for scientific purposes. Come on. So any man and woman you see in lab coats, stepping high, or smoking through their nostrils is not imported cannabis. Rest assured. Before frankly speaking the commentary, here's Desmond Richards.
Yes. The CARICOM leaders and people are preoccupied with what is happening in Haiti. And of course, based on the situation in Haiti, it requires us, CARICOM people, to pay attention and to do whatever possible to address the situation in Haiti. But I would also like to urge Caribbean leaders and our Jamaican leaders to pay some attention to what is happening in Guyana. Now, economically, Guyana has struck oil, and you know that at the moment that is one of the countries in the Caribbean and in Latin America that is set to enjoy strong economic growth. But the political situation in Guyana at the moment is of such that if nothing is done to correct it, it could lead to a state of instability. The Guyanese people at the moment are not enjoying the benefits of their economic success. The government is using its political force, its political power to suppress the rights of the opposition. Last week, the government burned down or destroyed an office of the where the opposition has been occupying for 50 years. Loot. Government agents went there and loot and burn it. 2, in January, supporters of the PNC supporters were bulldozed. Afro-Guyanese are being victimized. And as we speak, the ground for social instability is being laid solidly in Guyana. And I am afraid that if nothing is done, then we might have 2 situations in the Caribbean where we require outside assistance. Guyana might join Haiti, not for economic reasons, but for social and political instability. I urge the Guyanese people to remain peaceful. I urge CARICOM leaders and we in Jamaica pay some attention to what is going on in Guyana before it is too late.
That's Desmond Richards, journalist and founder of Rebel Radio Jamaica. Now, before Winne Anderson Brown says so to women, here's frankly speaking the commentary. 6 months ago, a group of Jamaican government agencies shut down access to Blue Lagoon without a clearly defined plan of how and when it would reopen. 6 months later, frankly speaking, there is no one able to say when this treasure, one of the most beautiful spots in Jamaica, will reopen to the public. Frankly speaking, Blue Hole is simply one of the most beautiful God-made spots on this side of heaven. If you haven't seen it yet, or haven't set foot in its waters, I can't even tell you when you'll be able to do. Well, forget all the myths and mystique about how it came to be. Let's just assure you, as the Jamaica National Heritage Trust says, Blue Lagoon or Blue Hole was once thought of as bottomless. What we now know, it's about 55 meters or 180 feet deep. The waters of that fab place keep changing through all the gears of blue throughout the day, naturally dependent on the cloud cover. Says the JNHT, quote, the waters of the lagoon are mixed with warm water from the sea and cold mineral spring of fresh water from underground. The mangrove, which surrounds the outer boundaries of the lagoon, protects it from silting and is also a sanctuary for birds and a nursery for marine life, end quote. I say ecologically priceless. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about its continued availability to the public and long-term plans for Blue Lagoon's operation, and whether we and our great-grandchildren and generations after will keep possession. We know how these things go in Jamaica, don't we? The runnings. It has arisen again as a national issue, an environmental one too, and one of rights of the average Jamaican as we continue to count square footage after square footage of beaches and open spaces lost in Jamaica. And not just the mega hotel corporations either. Lost. Places taken for granted over generations as cool out or Sunday evening chill spots for the sons and daughters of enslaved people. Lost now to this generation and the next into perpetuity. Let us say this right away, frankly speaking. We want order, not chaka chaka and chaos as operates so many places. We want order at Blue Lagoon, as we want order at White River rafting, or Blue Hole in St. Anne, or at Fort Clarence in St. Catherine. We must have order and the right facilities that will reflect a decent people, kings and queens of our royalty, as we are. So there has to be order. The agencies set up for running these things are various. In the instant case, the Jamaica National Heritage Trust appears to be the lead one in Blue Lagoon. But up to now, it is still, frankly speaking, by its own admission, looking for land to purchase or to get some arrangement to be able to provide some access from the Parish Council Road to Blue Hole, to the water spot. Now, it's our water spot, right? But there's no access to it except through lands that doesn't belong to us. Well, you get the drift, don't you? And the JNHT wants land also to be able to set up the basic sanitary facilities, restroom, garbage storing area, and parking. These are absolutely necessary, but the process of identifying them and these solutions should long have been in train before the closure 6 months ago. Simple. Don't take your eyes off Blue Lagoon or off White River rafting in St. Anne or off the Red Cross Puerto Seco Beach, Discovery Bay, or of the Fantasy Beach at Prairie St. Anne. I'm going to tell you about that and the hanky-panky I hear about another time. And now, Winne Anderson Brown.
It is said that women are more ethical than men. That's a debate that we will not go into. I am saying now, though, that it is time for women in Jamaica in particular to stand up, take a stance against crime and violence. We need to get out of our comfort zone and step up to our responsibilities. What? Are we responsible for crime and violence in this country? No, that's not what I'm saying. It is about time for us to play our part in stemming the tide. Women are in leadership positions. Look in the houses of parliament. We have a number of women, a historic number of women. Women are in leadership positions in our schools. All over society, we see women in leadership roles, some roles that they have never been in before. For example, a woman heads the army. That is a thought that we could not even conceive of years ago. Women nurture children. And the men that we have today, we brought them here. So we need to be able to do our part in making a difference. If we say no more protection for our children who are involved in crime and violence. No more protection for partners who are involved in crime and violence. And no more of us being a part of the problem rather than being a part of the solution. If we come together and stand up for what we believe in, step out of our comfort zone, and step up to our responsibilities, each of us can make sure we take the responsibility in our households to say no more crime and violence protection in my house.
That's Winne Anderson Brown, educator and health facilitator. That's the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast for this week. It's number 61. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. We welcome your comments on the channel. On behalf of Desmond Richards and Winne Anderson Brown, I am Franklin McKnight. Until then.